Canto 6. Summary. As the canto begins, Dante compares himself to a gambler who has won, and is thus surrounded by everyone wanting to be friends with him, shake his hand, and receive a handout. Only here, as the shades of the mountains surround the pilgrim, the handout requested is not money, but prayer. He is still with those who came to violent end, but, like Buonconte, repented of their sins at the last moment. Their requests for prayer lead Dante into confusion, as he recalls a passage from Virgil's own writing, Aeneid 6, line 376, where Virgil seemed to say that prayers cannot alter the will of heaven. Virgil tries to disambiguate, but falls back on a refrain that Dante will hear several times as they climb the mountain. Wait for Beatrice. She will explain. At the sound of her name, Dante is given new energy to keep going. However, they do not know the way. They see a soul who had been watching them from the side of the path. They make their way to him and ask directions. Instead of answering, he asks the travelers where they are from. Virgil begins to answer, but only gets one word out, Mantua. Immediately, the other soul leaps up and embraces Virgil. He is Sordello, a fellow Mantuan. This scene of such kindred affection for a fellow countryman leads Dante, the poet, into a long invective against various cities in servile Italy, condemning them for their violence and greed. He closes by comparing his own hometown, Florence, to a sick woman tossing on her bed, trying to escape the pain. Canto 6. The Late Repentance. When the game of dice breaks up, the loser remains by himself, regretful and sad, and learns by going over all the throws. All the people go off with the winner. This one in front, that one snatching behind, another at his side makes himself known. He himself does not stop, but hears them all. Those to whom he gives handouts ask no more, so he defends himself against the crowd. So it was for me in that teeming throng, turning my face to them both here and there, and making promises, I slipped away. The Aretine who was there, who met his death in the fierce arms of Gino de Tacco, and the one who drowned running in the hunt. Federigo Novello, pleading with outstretched hands, was there, and he from Pisa, who made the good Marzucco show his strength. I saw Count Orso, and the soul severed from his body through rancor and envy, as he said, and not from some offense done. Pierre d'Alabrose, I mean, and may she, the Lady of Brabant, while she still lives, take care lest she fall into a worse flock. When I was free from all the many shades who were still pleading that others might pray for their sanctification to progress, I began thus: It seems to me, O my light, that you expressly deny in some text that prayer can bend the decree of heaven, and these people are praying for just this. Could their hope therefore be unwarranted? Or are your words not very clear to me? And he said to me, My writing is plain, and their hope is in no way fallacious if one perceives clearly with a sound mind. For the peak of judgment is not collapsed if the fire of love fulfills in a flash that which those who stay here must satisfy. In that place where I maintained this point, his defect was not amended by prayer, because his prayer was divided from God. Nevertheless, do not let go of these deep questions until she, who will be light between truth and intellect, speaks to you. I don't know if you understand. I mean Beatrice, who you will see up above on the mountain's peak, smiling and happy. And I, Let's go with greater haste, my lord, for I'm not weary like I was before. Look, already the hill casts a shadow. We will keep going forward with the day, he replied, however much more we can, but the facts are different than you believe. Before you are up there, you will see him return who is now hidden behind the slope, such that you are not dividing his rays. But look over there at that soul sitting all by himself, who is looking toward us. He will teach us which is the quickest way. We went over to him. O Lombard soul, how lofty and distant you kept yourself, how stately and slowly you moved your eyes. The soul was not saying anything to us, but was letting us go by, just watching in the guise of a lion when it rests. Still, Virgil drew close to him, entreating that he might show us a better ascent. But that one did not answer his question. Instead, he inquired after our country and our life. My sweet leader had begun, "Mantua," when the shade, lost in himself, jumped up to him from where he was before, saying, "O Mantuan, I am Sordello of your city," and was embracing him. Ah, servile Italy, a house of griefs, a ship without a pilot in fierce storms, not a provincial lady, but a whore. That courteous soul was so very swift, simply at the sweet sound of his city, to make glad welcome there for his townsmen. But now none of your living ones remain in you without war, each gnaws the other, all of whom one wall and one moat shut in. Search around the edges of your waters, wretched one, and then look within yourselves if any part of you is glad of peace. What did it profit that Justinian refit the reins if the saddle is void? Without this your dishonor would be less. Ah, you people who ought to be devout and grant Caesar to sit in the saddle, if you well perceive what God says to you, see how this beast has become ferocious, for he was not corrected by the spurs after you placed your hands on the bridle. O German Albert, who abandoned her who is made untamable and savage, you who ought to have mounted her saddle, let just judgment fall from the stars upon your blood. Let it be obvious and strange, so that your heir may be afraid of it. For you and your father, avaricious for land up there, have allowed the garden of the empire to become forsaken. Come, careless men, see the Cappelletti, Montecchi, Monaldi, Filippeschi, those already wretched, these full of dread. Come, you savage, come and see the distress of your nobles and care for their troubles. You will see how dark Santa Flora is. Come, behold your Rome, widowed and alone, weeping and calling out both day and night, "My Caesar, why do you not come to me?" Come, see how your people love each other. And if piety toward us moves you not, come be ashamed at your reputation. And if I be permitted, highest Jove, you who were crucified for us on earth, are your eyes of righteousness turned elsewhere? Or is it a preparation being made from the chasm of your counsel for some good that is wholly sundered from our notice? For all of the cities in Italy are full of tyrants, and every peasant that comes taking sides is a Marcellus. My Florence, you may well be contented with this digression that does not touch you, thanks to your people who argue so well. Many hearts hold justice, though slow to shoot, not coming to the bow without counsel, but your people have it ready to speak. Many refuse the general burdens, but your solicitous people respond without being asked and cry, "I'll take the load." Now make yourself happy. You have good cause, you rich, you at peace, you with common sense. If I speak truth, it will not hide the facts. Athens and Lacedaemon, those who made the ancient laws and were so civilized, made just a small gesture toward living well when compared to you who make such meager provisions. What you spin in October does not last even till mid-November. How many times that you can remember have you altered laws, money, offices, and customs, and renewed your citizens? And if you well recall and see the light, you will see you look like a sick woman who cannot find rest on her down mattress, but by tossing shields herself from the pain.